Welcome back to Inside Horror. I'm Elric Kane, your host, and joining me, as always, is my lovely co-host and friend till the end, Stacey Lane Wilson. Stacey, you are looking ravishing as always. What is your secret? I mean, the colorful cheeks, you're so animated, much more than normal.
Ah, yes.
Well,
it's my my youthful secret there. I can't really reveal it, but I think it might have a little something to do with voodoo.
Who's your little friend?
This is Chucky. Chucky is back.
Hasn't he been back a few times?
I think so.
Okay,
you
good.
can't get him to go away.
Today, we were pretty excited because there's a reason we have this little guest on the couch, right?
That's right.
I believe it's sixth installment. I'm looking off screen for, okay, sixth installment. So today we're going to be very lucky to be able to chat with really the lone figure to be around for all 6 installments of the Chucky character. And the latest film is called Cure of Chucky, which is right here. Yes. And you had the pleasure of seeing it.
Yes, I did, and I would call it a pleasure, absolutely. Not just because a certain guest is here.
Right. So, well, we also have a giveaway, so do you want to mention
Yes, I do, actually. Yes, this is the Blu-ray right here, and we have 5 copies to give away. And at the end of the show, we're going to tell you how you can win your very own.
Excellent. So before that, let's take a quick look at the trailer, and then we will be graced with Don Mancini.
Who's it from?
It doesn't say.
You found him.
Chucky's my friend till the end. Hey, wanna play?
Hello, Don.
Hello, Stacey.
Well, I think we should just dive right in.
I first have to say, he
Yes.
looks like he could have sprung from your loins.
Well, how do you know he didn't?
Sprung onto, maybe.
It's a real
There's a
resemblance, definitely.
Oh, there is, kind of, yeah.
There's something you haven't told us?
Why do you think I'm hosting this show? How do you think I got this job?
It's your 25-year secret.
Yes. So actually, though, I mean, he has been around a while. It's been 6 installments. So how do you keep it fresh? And you know, you're coming back after a number of years too. So you make it fresh for the old fans, but you want to bring something exciting to people who maybe don't know something about Chucky.
Now the idea is to bring it back to its straight-up horror roots, and I think the fact that it has been 9 years since the last movie, you know, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. So I think in a way it's a prime time to really just like rediscover this character and introduce him to a new audience.
And it's crazy to me because you are very youthful, you're very young. To think that you've been doing that for 25 years is very hard for me to even kind of fathom. So I want to go back to that point. Where did the idea of Chucky come from, the actual good guy doll?
Well, the idea came from the fact that my dad worked in advertising and marketing. And so when I was in film school in the mid-'80s at UCLA, the original impetus is that I wanted to write a dark satire about how advertising and marketing affected children. And since this was circa 1985, this was when Cabbage Patch Dolls were really popular. So being a lifelong horror fan, I of course had been familiar with the living doll, the killer doll concept in movies and TV shows like the Talking Tina episode of Twilight Zone and Trilogy of Terror, that sort of thing. But I realized that it had never been done on a feature level before. And I also, at the same time, realized that animatronic effects had gotten to the point, this is just after Gremlins, that they were so sophisticated that you could actually treat the doll as a full-fledged character and give him a lot of emotional nuance. So all of that sort of was brewing in my head when I wrote the original script.
Well, I have a question about the creepiness of dolls, the inherent creepiness. Now, because you were talking about the practicality of it and the fact that you could make it animatronic and there was the whole like marketing to children angle, but what about the visceral gut reaction that we have to creepy dolls? Why do you think that endures?
I think our response to it is primal, honestly. I think that dolls occupy what we now call the uncanny valley. I think that because they're effigies, you know, they're distortions of the human form. It looks like a human being, but not. So it just feels off and wrong. And on top of that, dolls are symbols of childhood innocence. So when you pervert that, it just seems like an affront to humanity or something.
It does seem like most of our inherent fears come from that period, a childhood, like the poltergeist clown. Were there any particular, do you have a creepiest doll that you personally found unsettling? For me, it's the Deep Red. Argento's Deep Red just has that one sequence where that thing comes towards you and you're like, Jesus, get it away from me.
That was a good one. I was really affected by the doll in Trilogy of Terror, the Dan Curtis, Karen Black.
Yeah.
And also the Magic, the movie Magic,
me
which
too.
was
Yep.
Somewhat different. I mean, because that wasn't a supernatural thriller. That was a riff on the old British horror movie Dead of Night, which is a ventriloquist schizophrenia, manifesting through his doll. But that made a big impression on me.
I did want to say, we said off screen that it's very rare and maybe unprecedented that one creative voice has been there for all 6 installments. Friday the 13th, Steve Miner maybe directed 2, and Wes Craven directed 2 of Nightmare on Elm Street. So to stay interested, we've kind of discussed how you stay interested. Do you also look for like trying to create something else in each movie, like you talked about satire in the first film? Are you always looking for something like that to stay involved?
Yeah, I'm always just looking for some new subgenre or something to plug him into. I mean, I think over the course of the 25 years and 6 movies, we've made some really disparate, different movies over the course of the series, and I'm really proud of that. I mean, with this one, I wanted to do a full-on gothic. I love the gothic subgenre, cool. and we had never done that with Chucky, and I thought that it would work really well to have all of the action concentrated in one spooky mansion over the course of one stormy night. You could, it just creates a really interesting pressure cooker situation, and I felt that Chucky would work well in that kind of arena.
So the key question, when can people see this film?
Let's see, it's coming out VOD September 24th, I think, and on Blu-ray and DVD October 8th. Cool. And, we're on the festival circuit now. We just got back from Fright Fest in London, and that went really well, too. And we're playing at a few more. We've been invited to many, actually, which is really exciting. It just remains to be seen where it'll be. I as the writer, director, and creator of the franchise, selfishly want anyone who has the opportunity to see it on the big screen with an audience.
It's scarier. It's scarier.
And it's just more fun.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like horror movies are so much more fun as a shared,
it's a
communal experience. Exactly.
That's why I want people to go to independent horror films when they play, when you get a chance.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, they won't play in theaters at all, which is scary.
Yeah.
We end each of our shows with 3 quick questions. Very quick, you don't have to think. Boom, boom, boom. Stacey's going to lead off.
Okay, I'm still a little jet lagged.
He does have a flu.
I got an easy one for you then, softball.
Okay.
Your first scary movie?
My first scary movie was Arnold. This movie with Stella Stevens and Elsa Lanchester from the early 70s. Okay. About Elsa Lanchester plays a woman who marries a corpse.
Oh, wow.
Because she wants to inherit his money. And let's see, Roddy McDowell was in it too.
Oh my God, that sounds fantastic.
And everyone starts, and it's kind of like a bit of a horror comedy.
Okay.
It's good. I wish I knew who directed it, but I think that was the first one.
All
but
right.
I was also, as a child, I was really into Dark Shadows, the TV show. So I think that was really where I first caught the horror bug.
One person who writes the director's name on our webpage on Facebook will get a free copy of this film.
Okay.
Curse of Chucky. That seems to be a good improv.
I like that.
You have to write the director's name of Arnold. Second question, what do you fear?
I fear car accidents, and we have one in Curse of Chucky. Electrocution, and we have one. I fear I fear costly medical bills and taxes. I mean, as I get older, my fears are becoming progressively more mundane.
Because they're valid.
And I should probably channel that into some new horror franchise.
Exactly.
The taxes, death and taxes.
Growing up. Sad.
Last question. Will Chucky ever go to space? Will we see Chucky in space?
I would never say never to anything. I mean, I thought that it could, a fun setup for that movie could be an elementary school class like give Chucky to a space shuttle crew as like some gesture of goodwill, and of course that backfires. I actually would really, I mean, somewhat similar to that, I would really like to do a train set Chucky movie. Seriously,
like Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah, because there's just
yeah.
something about thrillers set on trains that just has a lot of appeal, and Chucky in that situation I think would work really well because you can't leave, you can't escape, but you have multiple compartments for private killings and whatnot.
It worked for Steven Seagal. It can work for Chucky. That's what I think.
That's how we got Katherine Heigl from that movie. We picked her up and put her in Bride.
Perfect. So we have to. Our final piece of business is how can the other 4 copies be won?
Oh, okay, the other 4 copies. Well, I think that, yes, there we go. That folks should like us on Facebook and then tell us what your first memory of Chucky was.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so 4 people win from that, and 1 will win if you can name the director of Arnold.
Yep.
Otherwise, we're excited to see this in October. Remember to keep seeing horror films in the theaters so they will stay in theaters.
Yep.
Otherwise, your next, for all we know, might be gone next week, as early as next week. We'll see what they do. Because word of mouth sometimes takes a while. So we wish you all the best on this, Don.
Thank you very much.
We're very excited to see Chucky get scary again.
I hope you like it. I hope everybody likes it.
Thanks so much. See you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.